Hello, super quick. I'm about to head to work, but I wanted to start a new vlog. Today I am going to West Palm Beach and then to Charlotte and then to Myrtle Beach. And I have like 18 hours there, so I'm hoping to get a lot of good reading done. But I will give you some more updates later with like what I've been reading and how I've been liking it. So stick around. So I swear I've really tried to get better about actually updating vlogs when I'm on a trip, but it's just slips my mind. Last night I got in here to Myrtle Beach about a little after midnight, so I was pretty tired, went straight to bed. I mean, I read a little bit, but then I went straight to bed. But today I don't have to sign in for my flight tonight until 5:40. Well, 5:40 is our pickup time for the shuttle to go to the airport. And it's only 2:30 right now. I got up around 10 and I've just been like kind of bumming around reading and enjoying the view. Right outside my balcony here is like the ocean. So it's pretty cool. I'll show you guys in a few minutes. But I wanted to talk a little bit about what I've been reading lately because I haven't been doing very good updates. So I'm still kind of in the middle of, what is the Twilight book called? The last one, Breaking Dawn. And I mean, I haven't really been very diligent about reading it because it's just not good. But I started the new Stephen King book, Fairy Tale, and actually, I wish I had made that its own vlog, reading that, but oh well. By the time I thought of it, I was already like 30% in, so I figured that was a little too late. But I'm really liking it. It definitely reminds me of 11/22/63, which is my all-time favorite book, and it's got a lot of similarities just in like the formula, the way we get into this like other world. So I'm really enjoying it. If you are a Stephen King fan, you'll definitely like it. It definitely veers more towards fantasy, I think, than his normal horror, but it is really good so far. I think I'm at like 55%. Like all Stephen King books, it's about 600 plus pages, but it's really, really good so far, but it was taking me a little while to get through. I also started yesterday reading She's Up to No Good by Sarah Goodman Confino, I think, is the author. It is about a woman who gets dumped by her husband, very younger woman, and she moves back into her parents' house, and her grandma is kind of like eccentric, like a little kooky, and she's like, I'm going to take a road trip up to like where I grew up, and her parents like encourage her to go with her grandma because they don't trust her to not get into trouble. And Jenna is her name, the divorcee there, she has like been doing nothing and bumming around the house for 6 months after her divorce. So she goes with her grandma up to Massachusetts, and it's sort of like dual timelines. So we're getting like the story of her grandma's life in the 50s, and like she wanted to marry this Portuguese guy, but she's Jewish and her father would not allow her to marry someone that wasn't a Jew. And then the same, like she's telling this to Jenna, the granddaughter, and then so it kind of flashes back and forth, and it's really good. It's a really quick read. The chapters are really short, which is really convenient when I'm at work because I can like read a chapter and then like go pick up trash. So it's great. And I'm also listening to the audiobook. I just started it of I'm Glad My Mom Died, which I feel like I don't need to explain that much because it's everywhere. It's a memoir by Jeanette McCurdy, who was on some Nickelodeon shows. I am a little too old for those, but I knew who she was, mostly because she was on this episode of Law & Order SVU. But it's basically about her mother's abuse and making her be an actress when she didn't want to be, leading her into an eating disorder, and it's really sad so far. I haven't gotten too far in, but everyone's been saying that it's like incredibly powerful, and it is already from just the beginning that I've read. But yeah, I'm liking it, but it feels weird to say that I'm liking learning about this girl's trauma, but it is a good book. So that's what I'm reading. Tonight I just go to DC. It's a really easy day. And then tomorrow I have a busy day, 4 legs, but I do get to go home, and then it's vacation time. My mom and I are going to Paris next week, so very excited to get done with this trip so I can go home and start vacation mode. So yeah, I will check back in when I have more updates about anything. At least I hope I will, because I haven't really been very good at that lately. Hello! So once again, I did not get my tripod out because I have to go downstairs to get my van. You're just leaning up against the TV currently. But I just wanted to say, hey, I did some more reading last night, about 2/3 of the way into Fairy Tale and about halfway into She's Up to No Good. Both are really good. I'm going to try to finish She's Up to No Good today. I have 4 flights and I have some good time to read, I'm pretty sure, on them. So hopefully I'll get a lot done. But also I just want to say today's my last day of work before vacation. I'm very excited and I can't wait to show you guys Paris. It's my first time, it's my mom's first time. I've been a lot of places, but I've never been there. So very excited, and now I have to go to work, but just wanted to pop on and say hi. See you guys soon. Hello. So I'm, first of all, sorry this lighting is not the best. I have my kitty is sitting where I usually sit when I'm taking videos on my couch, and like, she's so cute. I just can't move her. So I am back from Paris. I did not do a very good job of doing anything YouTube related while I was there, which should surprise no one because I've basically proven that that's maybe not the best thing that I do here. But I just want to like tell a little bit about my trip. It was amazing. My very first time, my mom's first time, we had no trouble making a flight. It is standby because I'm a flight attendant and that is how we fly for free. But we easily got on the flight to Paris, got to our hotel on Tuesday morning, and our hotel room was beautiful. We had an Eiffel Tower view, which was just incredible. Like, being able to wake up every day and just like look out the window and like there she was. Unreal. We did a lot of tours. We did one of those big bus tours, which I've seen in like every city I've ever visited, but I've never actually considered going on one. And one of the flight attendants on our flight over there had recommended that like we give it a try. So I went for it, and like now I'm going to do that in every city I go to for the first time that has a lot of like tourist sites. It was such a good way to sort of get the lay of the land and like figure out where we were and things we wanted to see more in depth. And it was a great experience. So I'm definitely going to include maybe like a little slideshow of some pictures in this video after I'm done talking to you. Yeah, it was just an incredible trip. After we left Paris, we actually ended up flying home from London yesterday, which would have been Sunday the 18th. The flights from London to Philly had a lot more seats available for standbys, and we got to get an extra day of vacation. We took the train from Paris to London and then spent Saturday in London. We didn't do a ton because we were a little bit worried about traffic and just different stuff because of the Queen. We just kind of wanted to stay out of the fray there. But we did end up going to Waterstones, which, if you don't know, is like the UK Barnes & Noble. And we're able to get a few books. And then we just went to a pub and had lunch and like drank beer all day. So pretty solid day. And now I'm home. We had a blast, but I was so happy to see my husband. You know, vacations are awesome, but it's nice sometimes to get back to reality too. So I did just want to like talk about a few books that I acquired, of course, while I was over in Europe. Additionally, like books that I read while I was gone. So when I think last time I checked in, I was still reading Fairy Tale by Stephen King. I did finish that before we left, but I never actually updated about it. It was amazing. It was amazing. It definitely was a fantasy in the same way that like 11/22/63 is, with maybe just a little more fantasy, because it is about like a magical world. But it was so good. I actually mainly listened to the audiobook because it was so long. I really wanted to like be able to plow through it, and I was just not having enough time to like sit down and read. So I did that. We were in Paris, and of course we had to go to Shakespeare and Company, which is like this famous bookstore by Notre Dame, if you don't know. And it was founded by an American expat that lived in Paris a long time ago. I think almost like maybe 100 years ago, and now it's run by like his children or grandchildren, I'm not sure. But anyways, it's an English language bookstore in Paris that is very, very famous. And so we went there. I was looking for Fairy Tale because I love the UK European cover, and they didn't have it, so I was kind of bummed out. I eventually did find it, although it wasn't until I was in the airport coming home from London. But let me show you how pretty it is. Isn't that just amazing? Like, I also, even though I've already read it, so I'm probably not going to read it again anytime soon, it is paperback. It's one of the things that I'm so jealous of Europeans for, is that they get hardcover and paperback copies in the same day. And I mean, hardcover books are so pretty, like on the shelf, but I just physically enjoy reading a paperback more. So I'm just happy to have my hands on this finally at the last minute, because I was looking everywhere. Everywhere we went in France that had English language books, and then we looked at like 2 or 3 different places in London, and I finally found it at the airport, waiting to catch our flight home. So I'm so glad I got it. But yeah, it was a really great book. I kind of don't want to like say a ton, because I think it's just better left to like reading it yourself and finding out exactly like what it's about. But it was brilliant, and the first half is great, but the second half like takes you to another level. It's almost like reading a separate story in a way, but in a good way. So also at the bookstore at the airport, I got Dolores Claiborne. I thought this was a pretty addition too. Yeah, I haven't read this one, and one of my Instagram friends just like absolutely loves this book, and I've promised to read it for so long. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting to it. And my mom was telling me how this movie terrified her when she saw it. So I've never seen the movie either. I don't actually know much about what it's about. I know she's like, Dolores Claiborne is the main character, and she's like giving a testimony or a statement to the police about something. So that is the extent of my knowledge. Hopefully this one will be a winner for me whenever I get to it. At Shakespeare and Company though, I obviously could not get a book, even if it wasn't a book I was looking for. I got Don't Look Now and like other short stories by Daphne du Maurier. I have only read Rebecca by her, but it's like one of my favorite books ever. It's so creepy and beautiful, and like, yeah, I love it. The way it's written is just like so like spooky. If you haven't read it, you definitely should. It's fantastic. So this is like short stories. Yeah, had a postcard fell out and attacked me, but it's just short stories. I don't really know a ton about her short story collections or anything, but it does look really good. I read a little bit when I was in the bookstore deciding if I wanted to buy it. I hope that I can like more of her than just Rebecca. I also got Never Saw Me Coming. This is about a girl who is like a clinically diagnosed psychopath, and she's participating in a study at her college. She's a freshman, and she picked this college specifically because this guy who is a junior there raped her when she was 12. Not like super fun premise there. She basically goes there and she's like, I'm gonna kill him. Like, I'm gonna get in and like figure out how I'm gonna kill him and not get caught, basically. And there's a program in the psychology department that's doing a study on psychopaths, and like the professor in the psych department that's running this study is very known in the community for not believing that psychopaths are inherently bad and that they just kind of need to be taught the skills on how to relate to people. So it's pretty good so far. On page 132, and I'm hoping to finish this in the next couple days. Yeah, I got this in the UK, and this is what I sat reading in the pub on our one London day. And yeah, it's pretty easy read. I'm enjoying it. I know this came out maybe like last year, but I'd never seen this cover either. I don't know. It was good. And then I finished The House Party. Yeah, one that was actually on my September TBR. It was great. It definitely was not a thriller. Like, I sort of had a feeling it wouldn't be. It really was not a thriller in any sense of the word. It was basically about a small town. I did talk about it before, but a small town on Philadelphia Main Line, kind of between Philly and New York City, where rich kids have this house party and like trash the place. Not just like leave cups around and like spilled some beer. Like, they had thrown a toilet out the window. They broke all the windows except for one. There was like graffiti on the walls. Like, it was trashed. The floorboards had like warped from the way that they had like spilled so much stuff, and the house was like almost done. Anyways, one thing I didn't know about this book before I started reading was that it is set during the very beginning of the recession back in like 2007, 2008. And so that kind of added something to it, being that like the housing market was terrible. So it definitely added to like how stressful this was to the homeowners. So it kind of just follows several different characters, from like the super rich boy who kind of like planned the party, and then his like best friend whose parents are farmers. Like, this is one of those communities that is very wealthy, and like because of that, like, you don't have to send your kid to private school for like a great education. Like, their public schools are great too because the taxes are paying for that sort of thing. So, you know, he's best friends with this kid whose parents are farmers and a little less wealthy, and it follows the DA, it follows the detective. So there's a whole lot of different points of view that I thought really worked well. This was really a social commentary on how rich kids don't necessarily have consequences all the time, and how your wealth status can really impact what consequences these kids end up facing. I really enjoyed it. I thought it had a pretty solid ending, and I would definitely recommend it. I did end up giving it 5 stars, so definitely think that's a book you should check out if it sounds at all interesting to you. All right, I think I'm done talking, and this has been 13 minutes of me talking. So I am gonna go do something else now, but I just wanted to kind of wrap up this vlog. This is like a month of my life because I just took so many days off in between. So I'm gonna try to do better, but I keep saying that and I don't, so we'll see. But I'm gonna end this vlog here. Stay tuned if you want to see some of my pictures from Paris. And otherwise, I will see you next time. Thanks again for watching. Bye.